Is second-hand club fitting a possibility? I mentioned it briefly in one of my last videos. It got amazing reaction, and a lot of you have reached out to say that you would be interested in something like that in the future. So let me tell you my idea. And with the second-hand club fitting business and idea, we're a long way off. I've got a lot of work to put into it to make it work and get it off the ground, but I do think there's a market for it. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. It's Simon down here at Burford Golf Lab. Apologies firstly for the lack of uploads. If you didn't know, I've got about 6 to 8 weeks left at Burford until the point that I'm going full-time on YouTube, as well as a couple of days coaching at a range that's a lot more local. I give you all the reasons why I'm making this venture, and obviously at the moment I'm trying to put all the moving parts together so that when I do take that leap, that we can hit the ground running. But in that video, I did mention the possibility of me doing second-hand club fitting, and a lot of you, well, first of all, it was a great reaction, and a lot of you got in touch. So basically, I just want to give you a bit more detail and my thought and my process of how I could potentially make that achievable, because it's not as easy as traditional club fitting, i.e. shafts, heads, interchangeable and everything else, and definitely not as thorough. But I think it could work, and obviously if you guys got any advice or any tips, then I'm more than happy to listen to all. So I've come up with 5 major hurdles I'm going to have to navigate to make this all work, and hopefully you get a bit of an idea of my vision for SAS Golf and the brand and the second-hand club fitting company, as well as Simon as the golf coach. And obviously if I get a second-hand club, I can make content with it, which then helps advertise the second-hand sales, but at the same time I can then use that club for the second-hand fitting, and then that person's happy. So even though there's quite a lot of moving parts which I'm trying to put together at the moment, they all kind of complement each other. Everyone hopefully walks away happy with the end product, and at the same time I show the worth or the value in terms of second-hand equipment, and at the same time making it enjoyable, digestible, entertaining, new, fresh content. So the first major hurdle is stock. Now, over the course of a year and a half, if you've been watching the channel, I'm very good at finding a bargain. I've got a lot of practice now. I spent a year and a half searching eBay and Facebook Marketplace to find the best possible deal, to then do a review on it. So then obviously I'm not spending a fortune on second-hand clubs and then giving them away, and showing you guys the value of that. But how do I do that at a mass production? Well, it's not going to be easy. So obviously I want to do the club fitting side of it, but I am going to buy and sell second-hand clubs, whether that's on eBay or the new website that I'm creating. But trying to buy second-hand equipment at, like, let's say 40% of its market value is easy with these gems. Like, every now and again I'll spend 2 weeks and I'll find a driver that's way less than it should be, but that's not gonna, I can't survive on one driver every 2 weeks. So how do I do it quickly? Here's my plan at the moment. If you guys got any ideas, then obviously I'd love to hear them. Number one is going around all the local pro shops in my area, and basically saying that if you've got old equipment, or if you do a trade-in, for example, I will give them more than the market value that they would get from a normal second-hand company, and just give them cash, basically. Drive up, pick it up, whatever, around my local area. And I think that's going to be a good way initially of getting second-hand equipment that's in good condition, as well as obviously it's going to be the real deal, because obviously they're PGA pros and everything else. Number 2, Facebook ads. I'm going to put tons of Facebook ads out, I think, when I start, in terms of just saying I am here and I want to buy second-hand equipment. And if you've got an old set or an old drive or old set of irons that have been gathering dust for 4 years, I will give you cash for it, or I will give you PayPal transfer, whatever that might be, which again I think is going to be a good way early on to try and build up a bit of stock. And then thirdly, obviously Facebook Marketplace as well as eBay. I'm just going to be looking everywhere, because to do this club fit idea, i.e. someone comes to me, a beginner, and wants to get a set of irons and a 3-wood, I need to have 6 to 8 sets of irons and 5 to 6 3-woods. Otherwise, and they're all got to be varying degrees of lofts, shafts, everything else, to make it even worthwhile to have some kind of choice in terms of price point. And obviously as we grow and get bigger and potentially this works, then you can have more choice, and we've got bigger storage space. At the moment we've got the flat, which isn't easy, but this is why stock is going to be the #1 crucial factor. And if I can make it work, then it's going to be unbelievable, because obviously I don't think I'm not going to say anyone doesn't do this, because I'm sure there's a lot of shops in the country that have radars and do second-hand stuff, but I'm going to be the only person that probably does it solely second-hand, because normally you get hold of second-hand stuff when you do a normal fit and then do a trade-in, whereas now I'm going to have to go out on my own and get the stock to then do a pure second-hand club fit. #2 is a monitor, which is quite a bit of outset in terms of cost. Any decent monitor, i.e. GC2, you're looking at £5 grand. Now potentially I could look at a second-hand one, but if that breaks and it's out of warranty, then I'm kind of stuck. So that's something that I'm going to have to look into, but I need some kind of radar that I trust and gives me all the data on my iPad to go, here it is. Now if someone comes to me, a complete beginner, i.e. been playing golf, I'm going to say if you've only been playing golf 6 months, you're a complete beginner. Monitors, radars isn't necessarily that key. I could probably just get you into a set, a drive, everything else that's going to work for you for the next year and a half, and then you come back to me and we'll swap in what you bought off me, and I'll upgrade you into something else. That's the vision I have for that. But for someone that has been playing blades for a long time and wants to get something more forgiving but doesn't want to spend £1,200 on it, potentially that's when I'm going to still need a monitor and radar. Costs come with that, but hopefully through a few contacts, maybe if anyone's watching this video, I can find a substitute or find a way to get around that hurdle. #3 are the cons. The cons of a second-hand club fit. Now, I can't, as a club fitter, with maybe 3 sets of Titleist AP2s, 1 set of tailor-made RBZ something, a G15 3-wood, whatever stock I have, give you a very detailed club fit. This is not for someone that plays off 4, 5, 6, let's say 12 and below, that wants the state-of-the-art club fit. It's just not going to be the way. I might not have the right set of irons. Obviously I can't swap heads over as much. You can with drivers and woods to some degree, but irons, obviously you can't do that. I could bend them, I could probably shorten them, but then when you start changing components, what I'm trying to say is just not going to be as detailed as this. It can't be. It's just, that's probably why the majority of people never have looked into it. And I would never be able to say I can give a better club fit than the majority of PGA pros with all of this, because it's so easy. Interchangeable heads, different lies, different lengths, shafts, weights. It's just a different kettle of fish altogether. That being said, it's going to be a lot cheaper, and obviously that reflects in the price. You're going to potentially be picking up some second-hand clubs, which a lot of people do already, but you get to try it first, which is always nice. So you get to try second-hand clubs first, which is something in itself, and then hopefully when I'm buying my stock, I might go, you know what, I've got tons of stiff Project X, whatever, cavity back blades. I don't need any more of that. However, I'm very low in ping, cast iron, graphite, whatever. I need to go and look out for a lot more of that for that particular golfer. So when I'm buying the stock and everything else, hopefully I cover all bases. But the cons are, it's just never going to be as thorough as a proper club fit, but hopefully I'm hitting a different market altogether. #4, turnover. I can't be sitting on the stock for a long time, so that's why eBay is going to be key. I'm going to be turning over a lot of this stock and buying and selling it, and I'm not really going to be, I potentially could give you guys a link to my eBay account. It might be on the website as well, but I'm not going to be shoving it down your throat. I know what sells and I know what doesn't sell, and if I didn't have my YouTube channel or anything else like that, I could probably just do this in the background without anyone knowing anyway. But the key is buying stuff that's going to move within 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm never going to have the same stuff at all times. It's always going to be changing, which at the same time is exciting, because obviously if I don't have something that you're after, this month. I potentially might have it in a couple of months, but I can't be sitting on stock for ages. Young family, space, it just doesn't work. So it's got to turn over quickly. And again, this is why Golf Bidder, Golf Clubs for Cash works so well, because a lot of these pro shops, they want to sell the irons and they want to sell the driver because the markup's great in them. However, you can't have 5 grand, 6 grand, 10 grand's worth of second-hand clubs just sitting in the side there. And that's with a full pro shop, back office, whatever. This is potentially going to be in a closet somewhere until I can sort some other kind of storage. So turnover is going to be another major hurdle I need to get over. And number 5, warranty is probably the hardest bit. It's something that I'm going to have to kind of tackle and issue. What I don't want to do is sell someone a driver and then it breaks or the face cracks or whatever a month down the line. As a business or something else, I don't want that to happen, and I want to help that person out. We come some kind of arrangement, get that person sorted. But unlike new clubs, you are under manufacturer warranty. You buy something, they'll uphold to it. Every manufacturer I've ever worked with, even if a set of irons is 4 or 5 years old, they normally replace it with whatever's out there, depending on what defect it is. And as long if you just put it over your knee, then obviously they're not going to do anything about it. But if face cracks, whatever, you can work with that. I'm not going to be able to do that, which is kind of obviously tough, especially if I'm doing 5 to 6 drivers a week and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 of them break. So that's number 5, and that's something I've got to really think about. I'd love to know your guys' advice, because at the same time I don't want to leave someone with a bad taste in their mouth because they just spent £100 on a driver and they got 2 weeks worth out of it. But at the same time, I can't be giving out money back as well. So that's again another hurdle that I thought of, and any advice greatly appreciated. So guys, hopefully that gives you a bit more understanding where I am with the second-hand club fitting business and idea. We're a long way off. I've got a lot of work to put into it to make it work and get it off the ground. But I do think there's a market for it. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts anyway. But as Simon Smith, as being self-employed, and the brand and SAS Golf is going to be YouTubing, coaching, club fitting, long drive, hopefully when some events are on, because unfortunately it's not looking good this year in terms of getting any travelling or long driving, which is it is what it is. And obviously number 5, family man, father, being at home. Guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Leave this video a like if you liked it, subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later.